Hello, my name is Tanya Farrelly, and I'm reading my story Mongo, which was published in Crannog 52. I'd like to just say a very big thank you to the team at Crannog. My mother's got a new boyfriend, Sylvia tells me. I am sprawled on her bed, a love songs compilation cassette playing, while Sylvia, knees drawn up, cotton wool between her toes, deftly applies varnish to her nails. In the background, Meatloaf declares that 2 out of 3 ain't bad. He's some shit, I say. What, you've met him? Sylvia wrinkles her nose and stares at me hard, eyes huge behind round lenses. I shake my head. He wants her, he needs her, but there ain't no way. You haven't been listening to a thing I've said, have you? She says. I admit that I haven't. I've been thinking about Avril Monaghan and what a traitorous bitch she is, and that no one else can see it except Sylvia and me. Today was the first day back after the summer holidays, and I'd been dreading it. Earlier that summer, Connor Daly had finally asked me out after a 2 year cat and mouse game, only to end it a month later after I'd knocked back several attempts to have sex with me. We'd all been part of the same group: Connor, his brother Aidan, Avril Monaghan, Ciara Fogarty, Aisling Quinn, and me since first year. Avril and I weren't really friends. We just happened to have all the others in common. Sylvia wasn't part of this clique. She was in the B stream. Not that she was any less clever than us, but that she had so many responsibilities at home she didn't have time to study. After school, I'd call over to Sylvia's house, but it was the others whose company I kept all day. That morning, I'd arrived to find the girls sitting in the alcove outside room 2.1. Avril Monaghan was holding court, Ciara and Aisling on either side of her. There was no sign of the boys. Avril smiled sweetly and asked how the rest of my summer had been. I hadn't seen her since July, because she'd been staying with cousins, but I knew well that she'd heard all about the breakup. Fine, I shrugged, and Avril smiled disinterestedly. I was just telling the girls, she said. I was at my cousin's wedding last week. Connor came as my date. Aisling had the decency to look embarrassed. Whether for me or for Avril's bombshell, I couldn't tell. I smiled tight-lipped and said nothing. I knew Avril had as much interest in Connor as I had in Bridget Monroe, who sat beside me in every art class and was rumoured to have a thing for petite brunettes, though no one had ever actually seen anything to prove it. No, Avril's bombshell was designed for no other reason than to rile me. Connor was just a pawn in her game. Sylvia wiggles her toes and clicks off the cassette, killing Phil Collins' groovy kind of love, which is just as well because it isn't lifting my mood any. Come on, let's get out of here, she says. I follow her down the stairs. She stops to take an orange from the fruit bowl on the kitchen table, lobs one to me, and we're almost out the door when her mother calls from the front room, asking if we can take care of Robbie for the evening. Sylvia gives me a look, half apologetic, half resigned, and goes upstairs to get her brother. Sylvia's mother is a beauty therapist who works in a salon in the local shopping centre. She packs Robbie off to the John of God's in the mornings, and in the afternoons it's Sylvia who meets him off the bus and takes care of him until her mother gets home. Sylvia's mother works Saturdays too, and so we usually take Robbie out somewhere, to the park or the shopping centre, or if Sylvia manages to guilt her mother into it, she gives us money to go to the cinema. This evening, it's clear that Sylvia's mother has plans. She's wearing the fake tan they do in the salon. Her lips are frosted pink, and her eyelashes appear to have doubled in length. Going anywhere nice? I ask her. She smiles. Rafferty's on the green, she says. I nod, though I haven't a clue where she means. It must be one of those posh places, like the one my father brought my mother to for her 40th birthday, because she'd complained that they never went anywhere. Just as we're out the door, Robbie lagging after us, a blue sports car, something never seen in our estate, comes careering up the road and stops abruptly outside the house. The door opens and a man gets out. Hey, Sylvia, is your mom inside? His lips draw back in a wide, one-dimpled smile that does something funny to my insides. His hair, blonde like the Bros brothers, is combed back and he wears blue jeans and a navy shirt. Sylvia jerks her head towards the door. Yeah, she should be ready, she says. Who's that? I ask, as soon as he's vanished into the house. My mother's new boyfriend, Sylvia says, taking Robbie by the hand to cross the road. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier, only you'll never guess who he is. She gives me a pointed look over her glasses. Who? I ask. Only Avril flippin' Monaghan's father. I stole on the pavement to look back at the house. You're kidding me, I say. Nope. All I can think is it's as well that she didn't get her father's looks, or Avril would be an even bigger pain in the backside than she already is. Some woman's yellow hair has maddened every mother's son. Avril has swapped seats with Aidan, so she can sit next to Connor in English class. She smiles over when she catches me looking, then turns to whisper something in Connor's ear and giggles. Aidan seems none too happy about the arrangement either, and I think maybe it's because we're friends, until I criticise her and he jumps to her defence. Turns out he's just sorry it's not him she's chosen to play her little games with. I don't even know what they see in her, I complain to Sylvia. She's mousy. I'm not being a bitch, it's true. Avril's got this gorgeous wavy blonde hair, but her smile is nothing like her father's. Instead, she's got two tiny rows of milk teeth and a witchy little chin. Still, as my mother always says, there's no accounting for taste, and it's the flattery that does it. Avril hangs off Connor, but she does it with Aidan too, and it doesn't mean anything. She'll link her arm to the boys when she's walking home from school, play with her hair in a way that would embarrass them if it was their mother. She does it with the girls too, has a way of making them feel special. She's even turned the charm on me in the past, if only for the benefit of the others. What's he like? I ask Sylvia, expecting her to bag out Avril's father. Not because of Avril, but because she never likes her mother's boyfriends. He's actually nice, she says. He's taking Robbie and me go-karting on Saturday. I'm sure you can come too. There isn't room for us all in Porrig's blue sports car. He's told us to call him Porrig, not Mr. Monaghan. So Sylvia's mum drives us and he takes Robbie. I know Sylvia's impressed by this because her mother's other boyfriends hightailed it soon as they heard there was a Down syndrome son. Porrig pays for us all. I tell him my parents gave me money, but he insists. Then he gives me that smile that makes me feel like the sun's just come out. I can't believe Avril's father is so nice. Her mother, I think, must be a right cow. It's no wonder he left them. We get into our boiler suits, stick our helmets on, and it feels like we're going to the moon. Sylvia's mother looks gorgeous, like Kylie Minogue and Neighbours. It's amazing how some women look even better in overalls. The man from the track is showing us how to operate the go-karts. There's an accelerator and a brake, nothing too complicated. Porrig spends time with Robbie, making sure he understands it. He tells Sylvia's mother not to worry, that he'll stay close to him. And then I see them hurrying towards us. Avril Monaghan with Connor in tow. So sorry we're late, it was my fault, she tells her father breathlessly. She stands on her tiptoes to kiss his cheek, then introduces Connor, who looks mortified. As Avril is busy sizing up Sylvia's mother, he, look, I'm sorry. I didn't know you'd be here, he says. Are you and her? No, we're just friends. He blushes, though, when he says it. And I wonder if Avril is willing to give him something I wasn't, for popularity's sake. I never knew you had a brother, Sylvia, Avril says, beaming at Robbie. He's so cute. Robbie stares at her, transfixed. You two had better get a move on, Porrig says. We can't stand around here all day. Avril looks great in her red boiler suit, blonde curls hanging down beneath the helmet. In fairness, she looks pretty when she's not smiling. It's the teeth that let her down. Connor goes to help her into the go-kart, but she tells him she can manage. Maybe he could help me, she says, knowing full well the awkwardness between us. She smiles as if she's just done me this huge favour. Sylvia is furious about the whole thing. Why didn't he tell us she was coming? She mumbles. I shrug. Suppose he just wants you all to be one big happy family. And it was clear he didn't know about Connor. He looked just as surprised as the rest of us to see him tagging along. Avril's got in the go-kart next to Sylvia's mother. They're talking, and just before Avril takes off, she says something that makes her frown. Suddenly, we're all on the move. I power the accelerator, not wanting to be left behind. Avril leaves us for dust, zips past her father, with Connor close behind. I slow down to check on Robbie, who's way behind and having some difficulty steering. He's turning the wheel from side to side like a kid in an amusement arcade, but he's definitely got the hang of the accelerator. Avril's out of sight now, tearing up the track so fast it's only a matter of time before she overtakes us. Porrid's trying to tell Robbie to pull over, but he doesn't seem to hear. It happens behind me. I hear nothing but the bang and the shouts. The staff from the go-karting company run onto the track, waving for everyone to stop. I turn to see Robbie's cart turned sideways, and Avril's swiveled into the barrier. She's not hurt, though, because she's jumped out of the cart and is screaming at him. Poor Robbie looks devastated. She pulls her helmet off and hurls it at him. It hits his shoulder, his reflexes too slow. Fucking retard, she screams. What were you doing? Trying to run me off the track? It's all your fault anyway, she says, screaming now at her father, who's asking Robbie if he's okay. What do you expect when you bring a bloody Mongo along? Everyone is silent. Sylvia's got her arm around Robbie and is leading him away. Connor, who had rushed to Sylvia's aid, can't meet my eye. Porrig says something to Avril, and her face crumples. I'm sorry. It was the shock, was all. You know I didn't mean it. I didn't, she says, as he turns his back on her to apologise to Sylvia's mother, who looks fit to kill. Pack of fucking retards, Avril says, as she stalks off the track. But no one is listening anymore. Thank you very much, and thank you to the good people at Crannog for publishing my story in Crannog 52.